Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I'm in the book today. I got a nice few lessons. I might break them down, but I did that the first one. See how it go. Let's go. I got something nice for you. Hope you enjoy it. Let's rock. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? Excuse me, you will when I'm through. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I'm doing the Memphite tradition, the cosmogony of Memphite tradition. How about that? And this is going to talk about, I just showed you, that's the Anuian group of gods and goddesses. Now, this is the Memphite group of God and goddesses. These are the elements over here. I'll break it down for you. Hopefully you get a better understanding. But that's what we're doing today. I'm going to see how many I can get in for you. How about that? Right now, we're in the Memphite tradition. So understand the mystery teachings. Again, all of these are mystery teachings. And you understand they all try to do one thing. The mystery teachings of the Memphite tradition are related to the nether rules known as Ptah, or T. The P is silent sometimes. Most people pronounce it Ptah, but it's T. All right, Sekhmet, the female lioness head. If you see the lion head, the lioness head on the female Sekhmet, okay. Now, another story there, but I'm just going to just introduce you to Sekhmet. She's the female aspect, okay, of power, and she's powerful, all right? Now, the myth of the philosophy, the son Nefertim, that's the one that sits on the lotus with his hand to his mouth, knowing when to shut up, knowing the child's place, okay, obedient, knowing is your thing. You'd be seen and not heard. Another lesson, but that's the concept. Now, this is the Trinity. This is their Trinity for the Memphite tradition. A little further down the road, watch this. Now, the myth and philosophy, again, of these divinities, again, they constitute the Memphite theology. This is their views. The temple and its creation, human origins, and the path to what? Spiritual enlightenment. Everyone has the same goal for what? Spiritual enlightenment. And it means the words of my man Malcolm, by any means necessary. But this is by means of what? The supreme being, all knowing, knowing who God is. But it's in the form of the God we call Ptah. And it tells of how Ptah emerged from the primeval ocean and how he created the universe by his what? Will, and the power of what? Thought, the mind. He thought himself into existence, okay? That's the power we have to create from our thought, from our mind. I was doing right thoughts also. But the gods and goddesses who are what? His thoughts. They go to form the elements, aka nature, and the cosmic forces that what? Maintain nature. His spouse, Sekhmet, bad girl in her own rights, has also a powerful temple system of her own. And that is related to what? The Memphite teachings. She's the female Aset, okay, for them. And the same is true for what? Their son Nefertim, which is another form of who? Harut. Me and you. Again, knowing and understanding. And watch this. Let's talk about their essence, their nature, their concepts, the netherus of creation, in the company of the god and goddesses, Neteru, the Bersha, which is Amun, which is what? Unseen. Again, hidden, but ever present. That's the supreme being, and he's beyond duality and description. We start with Ptah and Sekhmet. Now, these are not their offspring, okay? These are elements. Watch this. The Noon, remember that? The Noon represents the primeval waters, the unformed matter, where everything comes from. Watch this. And Noonet, that represents what? Heaven, creation, formed matter. Okay? Now you got Hu, which represents boundlessness, means no boundaries. Then his opposite, Huhet, represents boundaries. See, we're going with this. They was doing what? Mayat, opposite, equal opposite. See where we're going with that? And watch this. Kuk, K-U-K, represents darkness. The opposite of Kuk is what? Kuket. That represents light in their aspects. Okay? Now, the last one, you got Amun, which is the hidden spirit. Then you got Amenet, the manifest spirit. All of these are concepts and aspects of your character, which you can use and manifest for yourself and become what? Have knowledge and mastery over oneself. Their whole goal was to know who you are in the flesh. Why? Because when the flesh dies, the spirit can go home. They didn't have a bunch of lingerers or messing up the why. Everybody did the same thing. And those who broke, they understood the right that they made for that. We recognize and we revere and respect bad behavior, evil doing people. Need I say more? Ancients thrived on what? Goodness, righteousness, and good people in control. It started from the top. Bad leadership, bad results. Moving on. But they had their own, they called the city of Hecapata. That's where the people in that area followed this philosophy. Simple. Just like the Pentecostals and Holy Rollers, they do what they do. They do what they do. Okay? Next one, I got another one for you. Now let's go to the tradition. Oh, this is a good one. The Theban tradition. Okay. Now, this is one of them. You see that guy with the big hat? That represents Amun. Okay. His wife is behind him. That represents Mut. She got a nice hairdo too. You see, she got the vulture cap on. She got the crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. No, she's got the one thing that's Lower Egypt, excuse me. But her son behind him, see that guy behind him? He's Khonsu. He represents the moon guy. You see the moon on top of his head, but he got the prince lock, okay? The side, they call it the prince lock, okay? And at the bottom, now this is his crew, okay? He got everybody, okay? Lottie-dottie, everybody. But that's the concept, okay? Now, we in Thebes now. This is the whole different concept that they got, and we're going to take it through the trilogy right quick, take it through there. It's called Shitat Amun. The mystery teachings, again, of the Wasatian tradition are related to, again, to the Neteru known as Amun, Mut, and Khonsu. Khonsu is the one who lost the time to Tahuti to give birth to the 5 children. That's another story. I get a little too deep. Sorry about that. Get back over here. Let's keep it generic. All right. Let's keep it elementary. How about that? But this temple, and it relates to the temples which espouse the teachings of creation. Again, they all do. Of human origins and the path to what? Spiritual enlightenment. That's the big theme. The main theme for our ancients. Why is it not important to us when we know that our downfall is what? Lack of knowledge. They thrived on what? Self-knowledge. Moving on. And by the means of supreme being in the form of who? This God. Their God is Amun or Amen. Ra. It tells how what? Amun and his family, which the Trinity is Amun, Mut, and Khonsu. How they manage the universe along with what? their company of God and goddesses. And this temple became what? Very important in the what? The earlier part of the New Kingdom area, obviously. Why? You see the trinity of Amun and the company of gods and goddesses below. He got up to 15 people. And this would be the presidential cabinet. And if you look close, everyone can be recognized by their headdress. Okay? You see a bunch of headdress in there that you may be familiar with. You see the first one, I see the big phallus out there. That's Moon, that's men. Okay, Amsu, that's the guy who controls his sexual urges. Okay, and each one of them has a specific purpose, and they all need to be what? Mastered within yourself. And that's the whole idea of what? Self-mastery for each area that they lived in. Everybody wanted to have what? Spiritual enlightenment. What? To know themselves as a people and understand who God was, who they knew for themselves. They didn't compete. My God better, your God, my God. No, that was a bunch of nonsense. Okay, now let's slide over here to what? This is the female part. The net right, the net writ, okay, or arat. You see here all female goddesses. Okay, and you see the one at the bottom? The bottom, that's my girl. That's me, her, the mighty forward one. And see the cow horns? She represents, okay, birth to Ra. She tell you, I gave birth to him, so she's called the mighty forward one. And you see all these women, right? You see the first one there? Who you see? You got Aset first. Yeah, excuse me. You got Aset with her headdress. She at? Okay, yeah, that's right there. Okay, yeah. Aset, you see her with the cow horns, the vulture cap, the sun disk, and her throne. That's her. Next to her is Net. She represents the bullseye, okay, but she's also the weaver. She's the spider concept. She weaves the world, okay. That's why she's spool of thread, okay. She's in charge of what they call, how about this, the Matrix. And then you got my girl. We're talking about her now. Sekhmet. There you go. And she got the cat head, the female lioness head, and she has a sun disk with the Uranus on the front. Next to her is her sister, what's that, Mu? Yep. That's Amun's wife. You see her headdress? She's also wearing the vulture headdress, and she got the upper and lower Egypt crown on. Y'all see it right there. And then you got the end, Het Haru, or y'all know as Hathor. That's God's left eye. She's the destructive one. You don't want to mess with her. She got the cow horns, the hat. She got everything she needs, okay? But that's all female aspects of your character that once you understand them, study them, know them, and master them, that's part of self-mastery. Let's go over it right quick. The hieroglyph that I just showed you, the serpent, female, with the sun disk and the horns. Oh, excuse me, I forgot to tell you, but the old girls, a little late for that. Another lesson, I'll get to it. Something going on this morning. But the serpent, females was seen as the serpent. And the Ogdo, the men was frogs, and the females were serpents. Another lesson. But this hieroglyph, the sign of Arat, it means the goddess. Okay? General, throughout ancient Kemet, the mystery teachings of the goddess traditions are related to the divinity in the form of goddess, meaning females. The goddess was an integral part of all Netarian traditions, but special temples also developed around the worship of certain particular goddesses who were also regarded as what? Supreme beings in their own rights. Even gods have supreme female beings, okay? It wasn't just a male thing. No. Thus, as what? In other African religions, you got the goddess as well as what? The female gender was what? Well respected and elevated as what? The male's divinity as equals. Again, a man can't make a baby by himself. A woman can't make a baby by herself. So stop with the, Y'all got to meet on a certain ground. That's 50-50. Understand that. That's why Solomon, when he had the baby situation, the real mother would not allow that baby to be killed. Why? Because they're connected to it. That's why. Simple logic. Again, Sherlock Holmes, elementary, they're watching. But all our philosophy, all our stories is to tell stories to what? The lessons. To give life lessons. I'm giving them, using me as life, okay? But the goddess was also what? The author of what? Creation. But man, shut up. Man was born from a woman, giving birth to it as what? As a great cow. Hello, that's what I said, the mighty full one. That's why the whole cow concept comes in. Man. We drink cow milk to this day. I don't know more, but I get the concept, and that's where it always comes from. Another lesson, moving on. But following are what? The most important forms of the goddess. I just showed them to you. You have Aset. She represents the ride or die, okay? She found her husband, put them back together and all that good stuff. Then you got Net. Nobody knows about her. I give a lesson about her. She represented by the bullseye, the shield. And when her thing is, when she shoot for evil, she don't miss. Okay, that was her concept. But she also got the spool of weave. She also weaved the matrix, as we call it. That's the spider concept. And they all stand on Maya. Then you got my girl, Sekhmet. She's the female version to Patel. But she also, in that lioness form, she's a bad girl, okay? Then you got my girl Moot. Now, nobody knows about her because Amun, they didn't go over too well. So the big stories were pretty much Aset and Aset pretty much. She was stole the show when it comes to the female. A little bit had Hado, but Moot goes unknown because her husband was Amun, and he got all the, the hoopla. But she bad girl too. And all of these female goddesses are bad girls in their own right. And I guess last one, meet her. That's called the mighty full one. She has everything. She got all the regalia. She got everything. That's the whole concept. When I see blissed out people, I see meet her. When you're mighty full with the Lord in the spirit, that's called blissed out. So I call my blissed out female meet her. All right, with respect. Now let me take you over here to the Osiris tradition right quick. This should be easy because everybody knows this one. This is the one everybody familiar with. You see Haru right there as a boy? That's the midlife, because at first as a baby he sits on the Madonna, he sits on Isis' lap, and she's suckling from him. She's killing him, turning him loose to become a warrior. But this is the concept. She taught Asar. This temple, and it's related to temple. Again, all of them do the same thing, espouse the teachings of creation and human origins in the path to what? Spiritual enlightenment. Again, by means of a supreme being in the form of God. This God is Asar. It tells how he, Asar, and his family, which is the Trinity, Asar, Aset, and Haru. For those who don't know, Osiris, Isis, and Horus. I hate doing that. But the universe had led what? Human beings to what? Spiritual enlightenment. And what they call what? The resurrection of the soul. That's where the concept comes from. And this temple and its teachers were very important from what? From the pre-dynastic era down to now what we call the Christian period. And the mystery teachings of the Assyrian traditions are mainly related to the netherworlds known as Asar, Aset, Haru, or again, like I just showed you or told you, Asar, Osiris, Isis, and Horus. Okay. The tradition of the Asar, Aset, and Haru was practiced generally throughout the land where ancient Khmer. It was mainly the general religion followed, okay? It was the most well-known story. And the centers of these traditions were the center of Adu, which contains a great temple of Asar, where it's supposed to be his body flowed down the Nile River, and that's where it landed. And the city of Pilak is containing another great temple for Aset. And then he got a town called Etfu that contains the great temple of Haru. Each one of them had great temples in their own rights, okay? So they was well-known, famous story. Everybody know about it. Next one I'm going to give you right quick. I think we can, I can wrap it up with this one. The Atum tradition. Moses, they claim with the man of monotheism. First of all, we ain't going there, but he wasn't. Akhenaten, the sage pharaoh of Egypt. And he was what you call, we doing Shita Atum. He went from a bunch of gods to one god being Atum, which is the sun, which we call him Ra, he called him Atum. And this is what it looks like. You see this picture a lot, okay? Usually when you saw the pharaoh, you saw him real robust and physical. He was a little weird looking dude, okay? Almost a little feminine, on the feminine side. But that's because he wasn't running around trying to present himself as just, he's just, I am who I am, fat gut, and the whole thing, okay? He was a real dude. But his philosophy after becoming a sage. So he knew he had his concept, and because he's the pharaoh, he can implement it. Watch this. Now we're gonna do Shitat Atum right quick. This temple is related again, the same breakdown, creation and human origins, and the path to what? Spiritual enlightenment. They all served that purpose. Wherever you went, that's what it was about. Like the church is supposed to be today, but that's not a story. But that's what they did. And by the means of spiritual being in the form of God, this God was Atum. It tells of how Atum, with the dynamic life force, created and sustains creation. I ain't going there, but recognizing Atum as the what? Very substratum of all existence. Human beings engaged in devotional exercises and rituals and the study of the hymns containing what? The wisdom teachings of Atum, explaining that Atum manages the universe and leads human beings to what? Spiritual enlightenment. Don't make a difference. They're still going for what? Spiritual enlightenment, so I ain't got a problem with that. And eternal life for our souls. This temple and its teachings, what? Were very important where? In the middle New Kingdom. All these are different times, period of times. But the mystery teachings of the Atum tradition are related to the Netta Atum, and its main exponent was the sage King Akhenaten, who is depicted below. I showed you the picture with what? His family adoring the sun disk symbol of Atum, and the rays coming down like fingers, like hands. That's like the sun rays, and you look at it, there's hands coming down and touching you. Okay, but this is his philosophy. It was his concept. Okay, these are rays for the sun, and I'm not gonna have a big hoop-de-doo about what I think, what I know about it. That was a philosophy that they practice. How about that? There's no foolproof philosophical concept that don't have a few, but if you let them know in advance, these are mythological people. They wasn't real people. We gave them life. We manifested to study, to get the philosophy, to do what we're doing now, to learn about them, to emulate them. And next I'm going to come up with you with the general principles of what we call Shitat Netta, teachings presented by the Commission scriptures. They had laws that they governed by. They had laws that they followed. I'll be right back. In closing, right thinkers, may y'all live to be 100, me 100 miles a day. So I never know that my right thinkers have passed away. I got more information for you. I'll be right back.